This is Fuck Around and Get Paid, where fun, flow, and strategy meet to help you, my friend, get paid for doing what you love. I'm your host, Jennifer Liss, and today we're going to talk about how to create 6K months in 2026. How's that sound to you? Sounds good to me. Let's dive in. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to the podcast. So I asked on social media the other day, what is one of the things, business owners, that you want to know how to do in 2026? And somebody said, I want to know how to create 6K months in 2026. So I sat down and I said, okay, now I'll be honest with all of you. I myself am building to 6K months in 2026. That is not where I'm at in my business. I had closed my business and was working for somebody else, helping them to make 6K months. So while I've helped to do it for other people, it's not something that I have done for myself. So I myself am on the trajectory and on the learning process of implementing this myself in my business in 2026. And I'll be flat out honest with you and every single one of my clients and every single person who is in the expansion room, who is on this journey with me and coming along to building $1 million plus business in this next year. So if that's something that you are in for and you want to work alongside a mentor who is doing that, listen up. That's literally what we're doing in the expansion room. And I'm going to talk today about how I see that genuinely progressing, how that could genuinely happen in 2026, and how we can do it, my friends, with me. I often like to sleep until 8 o'clock in the morning and not actually start my day until 10 a.m. So doing it your way, that might not be you, but that's me. So I'm talking about doing it without hustle, without overwhelm, without burnout, because I just simply don't want to work that way anymore. In fact, I would rather not have the 6K months and have that, because that level of peace, and that is just really valuable to me in my life right now. I've done the burnout thing, I've done the hustle thing, and I love to work. There ain't nothing wrong with working in my world. I love it. And my husband will tell you that. I have downloads at midnight. Last night, I could not sleep because I just had this download that I had to get out. But I didn't start my morning until 10:30 yesterday morning. So that's how I like to work. And so there's some things that I'm going to talk about today that I think is really important for us to get in touch with what matters to you. And we get to the point in our business journey where we start to learn that, like, it's not this, it's that. And it could also just be in your corporate career. Maybe you're moving from corporate and you're starting to build a business and you're like, I don't want to do it from this energy. Well, girl, I don't want you to do it from that energy either. So the other question that somebody said was, how do I build this without overwhelm? And I know overwhelm incredibly intimately. If there's any emotion that I know super well, it is overwhelm. That is one that I myself have worked a lot with in my life. So I totally get it. And again, I'm on this journey of, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to make an income in a way that is fun. It's light. It's completely me. I'm having a fucking blast doing it. And so I really am like, come with me on this journey. And so when somebody asks this question, how do I do this? I'm like, this is the way that I see it happening for us. And so if you want to come along. And what 6K months, here's what I see. And again, I've observed many entrepreneurs doing this. I have literally been on the back end helping entrepreneurs do this. And I've sat in the room with many women who have done it from burnout, and who I can see are still doing it from burnout. They're in their own journey, as we all are. And women who have definitely not done it from burnout, and men. More, I've sat in the room with a lot more women entrepreneurs than men, but I've seen it from both. And here's what I do know. It's not about doing more, posting more, forcing more launches, doing it a certain way, doing this certain strategy, and buying into somebody else's methodology and somebody else's way. Now, what that also doesn't mean is that you won't post more. It doesn't mean that you won't do launches. It doesn't mean that there won't be a strategy that you implement. So this whole energy is the only strategy, that's not true. You guys, there are real, actual, tangible strategies that will help you in business when it's the right one for you, applied in the right way. So we've got to get past, especially in 2026, and the way that things are going to be changing in the new landscape of business in this new AI world. We've got to understand that there's no one size fits all approach, and your intuition is God. Literally, your intuition is actually God speaking to you. So your intuition is the way. So if you're not in touch with your intuition, if you're not in touch with your emotions and really understanding how to fine tune your frequency to move through the world from your most magnetic energy, you're going to have a hard time building a business in this way. And you might still be able to build a business from hustle, but you're going to have a hard time building it from this way that is through fun and flow. So there's three core things that I think really matter for this. And the number one is energy. Energy, I do often sometimes say energy is everything, because it is most things. Your body's capacity for visibility, your capacity for receiving, your capacity for enjoying yourself as you build something is completely rooted in the energy that you're operating from. So it really, really does matter. Another thing that matters is expression. So creating offers, creating content, creating things in general, anything that you create for your business in alignment with who you truly are. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know that I think that is the most important thing. And I also think it's the thing that most people struggle with the most, is knowing who they are. And so I'm definitely on a mission to support us in coming home to who you truly are, so that you can have authentic expression. Again, in an AI world, authentic expression, you being you, is so important. We can sniff out a lie. We can sniff out the AI and things so freaking fast. The next E, did you notice these are all E's? Three core things that matter is experimentation. I can't say it enough. Experiment, experiment, experiment. And that's where the rubber is hitting the road. This is where you are going to understand what is your energy, what is your expression, what is it that hits with people. Experimentation, we've got to be willing to try. And that's also where you're going to build your capacity for the other two things. So most business owners are skipping these things. And anybody who finds themselves in burnout and inconsistency due to overwhelm, we're not prioritizing these things and really understanding that the energy and the expression are found through experimentation. So your income grows in proportion to how safe your body feels being seen and getting paid. So as a business owner, especially in this day and age, you've got to feel safe being seen. And that might feel strange. Maybe you're like, what does safety have to do with it? Well, you being you, for most of us, doesn't feel safe. And so beginning to build a nervous system that has the capacity for you being seen, doing that experimentation, doing weird stuff, that is, it's just, y'all, it's essential. You got to do it. You've got to do it. If you're not willing to do it, you're never going to find the way that feels really good to you. You're going to keep trying to do other people's way, and you're going to get burned out. And so that's how overwhelm happens. Like, overwhelm is your nervous system ultimately saying, this feels unsafe. This feels like too much work. This feels like something that I can't do. And so why would your nervous system say this feels unsafe? Well, it could be that you have tried it before and you had a negative experience. And so instantly, if you have tried to build a business before and you've had a negative experience, then your body is going to be like, nope, no can do, not going to do that. I'm going to give you a big old swell of overwhelm to keep you from taking the action that is going to have you go and do this. Well, how could you possibly do weird things and try new things and put yourself out there and put up a post from a different energy from what you have tried before, or try to step a little bit more into your power if your nervous system is running the show and you don't have tools and practices to help you reach these new levels of visibility and to deal with the triggers of these protective patterns that are coming up, because it's going to show up as freezing, it'll show up as procrastination, it'll show up as overthinking. And how could you create a consistent income? How can you, let's be real, how is a 6-figure month going to come to you if you're not trying shit? So what I have witnessed in entrepreneurs who succeed, they're changing it all the time because they understand that it's not a reflection of who you are. I'm going to say that again. What you try and what you do out there in the world is not a reflection of who you are, and nor are people's responses. You guys, I posted this video on social media. It's actually a remix of somebody else's video, and he was talking about how everybody needs a Sagittarius friend, which I personally agree. My birthday is actually this week, my friends, December 19th. What? So I posted this video, and it's a reel of this guy talking about that. And then there's just me like popping my head in as an overlay and just like nodding and agreeing with him. It's very silly, very, very me. And so I posted this video, and it's, for me, this is viral. This thing has got like, at this point, like 35,000 views or something. And I don't normally have reels that go that wild, but I've been experimenting and having fun. And I had this idea to do that. Well, somebody comments on there like, why is this girl just popping into the video? Let the man speak. Like, I mean, he's kind of right. Like, it makes no sense why my head is popping in there other than to be silly, right? So if that person does not value silly, that person will never buy my offers. You guys, they do not understand me. They don't get it. They're not laughing. And it's also okay if you don't laugh at it either, but they're not my person. They will never buy from me. And so we have to allow ourselves the experience of seeing that person and allowing our nervous system to stay in regulation, even when somebody says something like that. Now, that comment did not bother me. It didn't feel like a slide on me, but I don't know, me of a few years ago, it might have. That might have hit me. I would have been like, I'm never doing something like that again because of these negative comments that are on there. And also even some of the other comments that people had on there that I might have felt in the past a need to defend or a need to respond in a certain way, versus the way that I did respond to one of the comments instead with something that I knew would be helpful for my potential buyers, that would be helpful for the people who I know are a fit in my community, which I did do a responsive post to one of those. So, and again, that was an experiment for me as well. So we've got to let ourselves start trying things. And again, your nervous system and your brain, they are going to fight you at every turn on that. But to find your magnetism and your way to the 6K months, it's going to require that. So I have found that the natural way of expansion is through your joy as your strategy. And I've implemented this myself in my life, and that's where the miracles have been happening, miracle after miracle, and just wild, amazing thing that shows up in my life after wild, amazing thing that shows up in my life is through really understanding my joy and using my joy as my strategy. So if there is some kind of fun 6K formula, let me tell you what it is going to be. It is, number one, creating from joy as your strategy, which requires creating from a regulated energy. So not from urgency or fear, but from that openness, that trying, that experimentation. Step 2 is simplifying. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Build one offer that you love. And this might require that you try some things in order to get to that offer that you love. So create something and hold it loosely, knowing that what you are creating is on the pathway to knowing that you're creating that one thing that you love. So make one thing that like truly, truly, truly lights you up. It lights you up to make it. It lights you up to sell it. You know that it serves people. That one, we see it all the time with people. It doesn't take having this huge offer suite. But also remember that you could create on your way to creating that one thing, you might create a bunch of really cool things that could somehow be wrapped into that one thing, whether it's included as bonuses or whether you include it in some other way, like a membership. The things that you create on the way to the one thing that you end up selling, that it might create some mini offers that you have available along the way that could ultimately be lead gen. So I tell my students this all the time, like everything that you create is valuable, and create it from the space that it is so effing valuable. If you're going to create it, go all in on it, have the most fun that you could possibly have creating it, which is step 3. Do this experiment a lot by creating consistently from joy as your strategy. If you're not having fun doing it, don't do it. Or if you're not having fun doing it, ask yourself, how could I have more fun creating this thing today? Like, okay, this is not fun for me. What would make it more fun? Maybe I sing and maybe I dance as I teach, which is what I do on some of my videos. Like, let's bring some lightness. Let's bring some joy. Let's put my floating head on a remix on a reel in front of something. Like, start to play and let yourself have fun with it. We're not going to create 6K months. Like, if the discipline and the hustle that you're doing right now is not working, it ain't working, right? So let's try something new. Let's try what if for the next month. This is an actual lesson that I gave in a group that I went and taught in recently. I said, what if for the next month you just don't do it if it's not fun? And I'm really curious to check back in with these individuals after a month who really did that. Who really did that? Who actually committed themselves to, if this is not fun, I'm not effing doing it? Probably, I hope that it would be, 100 people, 1,000 people. But it probably isn't, because your nervous system does not feel safe using joy as your strategy. And so we're relearning and we're unlearning all of these ways of constantly working through pressure and overwhelm. So we're learning our natural rhythm and how we create with joy as our strategy, which is part of what we're doing in the expansion room. I'm really, really excited that we're working with these expansion archetypes that are helping you to understand exactly how you show up every single day from your most magnetic energy, and how you can work even with your shadow in order to create things in the way that is most enjoyable for you. So if you're interested in that, I highly recommend that you hop in there and come play with us. So step 4 is what I just mentioned about nervous system, because we need the support as we regulate along this path. And growth is simply easier when you're supported. So whether that support comes through some mini nervous system practices that you do, such as EFT tapping. One of the things that I do, that I have taught to friends, to mentors, to students, is when you feel like something, like you feel dumb, like I just posted something and I feel so silly, I just want to go delete it. Don't delete it. Just tap on your collarbone or tap on another. You can go look up the EFT tapping spots on your body and just say, even though I feel like such an idiot right now. I still deeply and completely love myself. Even though I feel so silly right now, I am a whole human being and I love myself. And just say that to yourself and watch your nervous system just melt and calm down and be like, you know what? Actually, it's totally okay that I posted that. And it's totally okay what my grandma might think if she reads it. It's totally okay if somebody thinks that I was a weirdo for posting that, or that I sound crass, or that I sound too harsh. Ooh, women, we struggle with that one. What if I sounded angry, or did I sound cocky, or did I sound like a narcissist? Like, we will say these things and then we'll want to delete it. Don't delete it. Don't delete it. Regulate instead. Okay. So this is the formula, my friends. And the biggest part of this is you allowing yourself to truly be you, and allowing yourself the opportunity to experiment on the way to finding that, to really know that you don't need to get it right. You don't have to perfect it. You don't have to pretend to know everything. You don't have to pretend to be an expert. You can bring other people along, and it's going to be so much more enjoyable when you do, when you just show up as the human being who you are, who happens to have some magical, badass effing gifts that you have to give at this moment in your life, really stepping into your most powerful, authentic, and aligned energy, because I know you can. I know you can. There are so many people who are out there who are making millions of dollars. Like, there's so much money in circulation. There's billions and billions, trillions of dollars in circulation. And there are so many people who are millionaires. Why not you? Like, legitimately, in 2026, why not effing you? Why not? And why could you not have so much fun doing it? Like, I truly believe that it's possible for you if you commit yourself to doing some of these things that in the moment they might feel hard, but after you've done them a little bit and your nervous system understands that I didn't die when I did that, it's going to be so much easier. You won't even think a thing about it. You won't care about the thing that somebody says about you. It's fine. But in the moment, yeah, it's going to feel like death. And so that's why we have our regulation tools. That's why we have our practices. That's why we have our nervous system toolkit. That is something that is available in the expansion room. If that's something that you want, that's something that we have. And it's why in 2026, the very first thing that I'm teaching is walking people through a program called Safe to Be Seen. So if you're interested in any of those offers and anything that I have available, you can go to jenliss.com. I've also got all the links in the show notes. And if you want to hop into the expansion room, there's a link that's right there for you as well. So I'd love to see you in there and be alongside you as we guide into 6K months while having some effing fun. And I just think, imagine all of the cool things that could be created. Like, the cool, fun things that could be created when all of us join hands and we create through that energy. If that's the intention, I just think the world could be so freaking cool, and you could be one of the leaders who's making that happen. So let's lead in this new way. And I can't wait to see you follow that expression and that experimentation and that energy all the way to the bank in 2026, my friend. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, and you think that one of your business besties is going to get a little something out of it, go ahead and send it to them. Copy the link, or you can go to jenliss.com/podcast, give them the link to it, share it so that they can enjoy too. And maybe you can join each other on your journey to 6K months in 2026. I'll see you in the next episode. Again, you can go to jenliss.com if you want to check out any of my offers, and I'll see you next time, my friend. Bye.